Here's a closer look at the bad bearing in my tone wheel generator. I put a mark with a felt tip marker there. This bearing is wet with oil on the outside, okay, but on the inside it's just as dry as can be. There's this dry black sooty powder in there. So versus this one over here, which is almost as bad but not quite. This bearing is wet on the outside, but it's also wet on the inside with Hammond oil. Whereas for some reason the oil on this bearing, it made it down through the wick to the outside of the bearing, but for some reason it can't penetrate the bearing to the inside, because this is just as dry as can be in here. Somebody also asked a question, were these bearings swaged in correctly? They appear to be swaged in just fine. This one's just as tight as can be. It's swaged in the back just like all the other bearings are, and I can't turn it. And it's swaged up to the shoulder just like all the others. So I still think it got some sort of contamination on it, and that contamination is somehow preventing the oil from penetrating from the outside of the bearing to the inside of the bearing. Here's a look at, this is a tone wheel from out of a different generator, but just to show you, if I put it in the bad bearing and turn it over, maybe you can see that, just how much wobble that thing's actually got. A huge amount. Okay, now the other bearing next to it, if I put the tone wheel on that one and turn it, that's how much play you've got. So that's a good bearing. That's the play you see on a good bearing. And here's how much play you get in a bad one. So there you have it. One bad bearing plate removed from my tone wheel generator and replaced with a much better one out of a donor organ.